Join me in welcoming the Boston Children's Chorus.
Tell me of a king in his beauty. They tell me of my land shall be in the city that is made of gold. Cloudless days of cloudless days of an unclouded sky. Oh, they tell me of a home where no storm clouds rise. They tell me of an unclouded day. Oh, the land of cloudless days of cloudless days of an unclouded sky. Oh, they tell me of a home where no storm clouds rise. Oh, they tell me of an unclouded day.
This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking that criminal highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me.
You and me now. I roamed and rambled and followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. And all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. Oh, this land, this land, oh, this land, this land, oh, this land, this land, oh, my.
When the sun came shining and I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving and the dust clouds rolling, as the fog was lifting, a voice was chanting. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking, I saw a sign there, and on that sign it said no trespassing. But on the other side, it didn't say nothing. That sign was made for you and me.
Oh, this land, this land, oh, this land, this land, oh, this land, this land, oh, this land, this land,
This land, this land, oh this land, this land, oh this land, this land, oh my.
shadow of the steeple, I saw my people.
Let's give them a huge hand, the Boston Children's Chorus. Fabulous. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the University of Massachusetts Boston's Golden Gala. Tonight, we celebrate the 50th anniversary of Boston's Public Research University, and we pay tribute to Governor Deval Patrick. So this is a big night. And I am so honored to be a part of this. My name is Reverend Liz Walker. I'm the pastor of Roxbury Presbyterian Church. Thanks, Mom. And it's a pleasure to be your host this evening. Let me begin by saying happy 50th birthday, UMass Boston. Can you believe it? 50 years? Keith, I'm pretty sure I did the first anniversary. Do you think? I think I've been here all this time. In this region filled with so many long-established colleges and universities, one of the youngest is now all grown up. This great institution is such a part of the fabric of life in Boston that it's hard to imagine that it hasn't always been around. For generations, UMass Boston has served a gateway of educational opportunity for first-generation college students, preparing them for professional careers and leadership roles. And the caliber of its faculty and the quality of education is second to none. It is deeply involved in a broad array of public service initiatives, from helping young people prepare for college to working in urban neighborhoods to address a multitude of challenges facing those in difficult circumstances. The people who work and study at UMass Boston, all the way from Chancellor Motley to the undergraduate students, are mission-driven. That's what makes this such a special place. They want to make a difference in the lives of others, and that's what motivates them. I know this from many of my friends who work there. You ask them what they do, and they speak passionately about their work and its real-world significance in correcting issues of social injustice. You soon realize that they're not talking about a job, they're talking about a calling. One of my favorite authors, Frederick Buechner, describes a calling as when your joy meets the world's needs. And that's what's happening at UMass Boston. People are discovering their passion and their joy, and they're ready to take on the world. That's why I am so honored to be here this evening. I've come to think of this as the home of the city's social conscience. It's a place where education, research, and public service come together to take on urban challenges. And I'm also honored to take part in honoring Governor Deval Patrick with the establishment of the Deval L. Patrick Chair in Social, Political, and Economic Innovation. That deserves a big hand. Congratulations, Governor Patrick. You have inspired us, you have led us, you have lifted us, and you have shown us the promise of possibility. So we are so proud of you this evening. I didn't ask you this if I could have your permission, but I'm going to do it anyway, so don't get mad at me. I have had the honor of praying with Deval Patrick and a small group of preachers who, no cameras, no extra people, have been just praying for several years, every month. And you know what? You get to know a person who prays. And so I am, again, deeply touched to be a part of this because Deval Patrick is a man of great humility. That's what happens when powerful people pray. He's a man who is transparent. He has an enhanced perception, the ability to see and understand the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. And he is a man of great heart. So again, we honor you tonight, Governor Deval Patrick. We have a wonderful program planned for you. It's a birthday party with soul. We'll pay tribute to this wonderful university and our fabulous honoree, and we'll learn more about the people and ideas they're working on today to build a better future tomorrow. But let's get this party started. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Chancellor of the University of Massachusetts, Boston, Dr. J. Keith Motley. Let me just tell you a little bit about Keith. Appointed in 2007, Chancellor Motley leads this university with its 11 graduate schools and colleges and nearly 17,000 students. Under his leadership, the university is implementing an ambitious, this is going to take a while, baby. You may want to sit down. Under his leadership, the university
I just like standing by.
is implementing an ambitious strategic planning initiative to enhance the university's academic offerings and research enterprise, to grow enrollment to meet the increasing demand for a well-educated workforce, and to build the university as a resource of knowledge and public service. Keith is also guiding a 25-year master plan to significantly enhance the campus and its layout on the scenic Columbia Point Peninsula in a way that invites the public in from Greater Boston. Named the Boston Business Journal's Power 50 list of Boston area influencers for the past 4 consecutive years, Keith serves on numerous boards of community and educational organizations with local, regional, and national presence. He chairs the Kearney Hospital Board of Trustees and the co-chair of Success Boston Task Force, initiated by the Mayor's Office of the City of Boston. Other involvements include membership on the boards of the John F. Kennedy Library Foundation, the United Way of Massachusetts Bay, Freedom House, the Boston World Partnership, the Boston Municipal Research Bureau, the Boston Sports Museum, and chair of the Boston Committee for Do the Right Thing Challenge, an initiative of the National Campaign to Stop Violence. A founder of the Roxbury Preparatory Charter School, he's also chair emeritus of the school's Board of Trustees, past chair of the Newbury College Board of Trustees, and founder and education chair of Concerned Black Men of Massachusetts and the Paul Robeson Institute for Positive Self-Development. I could go on, but frankly, I am not getting any younger standing up here. Ladies and gentlemen, Chancellor Motley.
Put your hands together for the Reverend Liz Walker. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. And what a great evening it is. Thank you for coming out tonight. I know it was hard getting down here to the Seaport District, but once we get you down here, it's hard to get you out. Our University of of Massachusetts Boston is so grateful to have you here for our Golden Gala. We're celebrating the university's 50th anniversary, but we're also celebrating the Honorable Deval Patrick. As I look around, I see so many friends and supporters of the University of Massachusetts Boston. Thank you for understanding how important it is for you to be here tonight. Also, supporters of our great Governor Patrick, you've come together tonight for this special occasion, and we're grateful for that. We're joined tonight by several officials from the University of Massachusetts. They include our University of Massachusetts trustee, Chair Victor Woolridge, and also President Corrett, both of whom you're going to hear from shortly. Although unable to join us tonight, I'd also like to acknowledge former board chair and current trustee, Henry Thomas, for his service under Governor Patrick, and he wanted me to do that for him tonight. The university delegation also includes the University of Massachusetts Boston student trustee, Nolan O'Brien. And we're so grateful to have you here tonight, Nolan, and all the trustees that are here, but also my chancellor colleagues are here tonight. Chancellor of the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth, Chancellor Davina Grossman, and also the University of Massachusetts Lowell Chancellor, and our incoming system president, Marty Meehan, is here tonight as well. They are my brothers and sisters in this journey, and we're so grateful for that. I also want to recognize Governor Patrick's Lieutenant Governor, Tim Murray. He's here tonight. State Senator Linda Dorsina-Forey and State Representative Tom Sanacondro is here tonight as well. Victoria Reggie Kennedy, thank you for being here tonight. President of the Edward M. Kennedy Institute for the United States Senate. She's here. From the University of Massachusetts Boston, we're joined by the members of our Board of Visitors, our Alumni Association Board of Directors, university deans, members of our college advisory boards. The great president and CEO of the John F. Kennedy Library is here tonight as well, but also the beautiful ladies in my life are here. My wife, Angela Motley, who's sitting down there in the front row looking up at me, and also two of my daughters, Kayla and Jordan, are here today as well. The governor didn't come by himself either. He brought the First Lady with him. First Lady Diane Patrick, we're so grateful to you. Governor, we know that your sister and alumna of the University of Massachusetts Boston, Rhonda, and her husband Bernie, are here, or they're here in spirit, because they're part of this family. Thank to each and every one of them, and to each of you for coming out to celebrate with us tonight. If I missed you, know that you are loved. Know that we appreciate your support. Know that you are very special, and we're so grateful. And most importantly, thank you for your generous support of this benefit. Now, 50 years ago, at this time, our founders were busy with the immense responsibility of bringing the vision of the University of Massachusetts Boston to life. They were inspired by the public higher education mission of broadening access to higher education and its promise to stand with the city to address challenges of urban life. They were deeply immersed with the task of recruiting our first faculty, our first students, and our first staff that would join them for the first semester in the fall of 1965. And they were also engaged in the practicalities of removing the old Boston Gas building in Park Square and renovating that with new classrooms, laboratory, and with office spaces. From these humble origins, we have grown tremendously, and if you haven't been out there to see it, we've grown tremendously in size, and in stature, and in dirt, and in mud, and in concrete, and all those things. Today, your university is nationally recognized as the model and as a model of excellence in urban public higher education, and part of a university system ranked in the top 100 in the world. And also, 50 years later, history has a funny way of repeating itself. We're once again renovating and constructing new facilities to better serve our students and our faculty, just like we were doing then. Although the scope of the reach now extends to a national and also an international level, our public higher education mission remains as vital today in our city and in our state as it was a half century ago. As our academic enterprise has grown and we've expanded our research capacity, we continue to apply these resources to advance our founders' vision to address complex urban challenges, with teaching as a priority for our faculty. We're able to deliver a student-centered education that is not commonly associated with a public research university. As the chancellor of Boston's great public research university, and very proud of that, I have the privilege of leading this institution during this milestone anniversary. I recognize that we got where we are today through the leadership of all of my chancellor predecessors. And tonight, I'd like to acknowledge two of them that are here with us this evening. Sherry Penny is here. She's sitting out here. And also, Jean McCormick is here, one of my predecessor chancellors. And Jean now also is CEO of the Edward M. Kennedy Institute. Even more importantly, the University of Massachusetts Boston got to where it is today through the dedication of scores of faculty and staff and students who put their talent to work to serve our educational mission, as Reverend Walker said earlier. Many have made long-time careers at the university. I just went to a 40-year person's retirement today. Every day, they inspire me with their unswerving commitment to our students and their resilient response to whatever the challenges that are thrown their way. I'm also motivated by our students themselves. Many are first-generation college students like myself, balancing the demands of school, jobs, and family, and sleep deprivation as they further their education and as they prepare for a better life. I would like to take a moment now to recognize the members of the University of Massachusetts Boston community that are here with us tonight and embody the very best in education and engaged citizenry. With our current and former faculty, staff, students, and my colleagues in administration, please stand up and let's give them all a round of applause. Stand up if you're from the University of Massachusetts. Lastly, and I know you'll say, well, we hear that a lot from you, Chancellor, let me acknowledge tonight's honoree and the 2015 honorary degree recipient. It's been DeVal Patrick Week at the University of Massachusetts, Boston. Last Friday, we honored him with an honorary degree after our cousins across the water did it on Thursday. And today, we're honoring our former governor. He's played a significant role in the university's most recent successes. And I'm going to say more about that when we present his chair later in the program. So let's give him a round of applause. Before I go on, I want to thank everyone who's serving us tonight. All those chefs in the back who are preparing that food. It looks amazing, and it seems like it tastes that way too. They didn't want to leave the reception to come in here. I also want to give a special shout out to our Vice Chancellor for University Advancement, Gina Capella, and all of her team. This place looks beautiful. You organize this benefit with love, and we can see that. And I also want to thank all of our Golden Gala host committee members. You are amazing. It's now my pleasure to introduce the fabulous volunteer duo that co-chaired our Golden Gala. They are the partnership president and CEO, Carol Fulp, and Waterville Consulting CEO, Sean Curran. Come on up here on the stage. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Chancellor Motley, thank you so much for your amazing leadership and for the example that you provide us each and every day. Ladies and gentlemen, please give our Chancellor a rousing round of applause. On behalf of the Golden Gala Host Committee, we're delighted to welcome all of you. And it is really wonderful to be with all of you to celebrate the 50th anniversary of UMass Boston, our outstanding public research university. And it is fitting to celebrate one of its most loyal supporters, Governor Deval Patrick. It's been an honor for me, and actually for the entire committee, to be a part of UMass Boston's 50th anniversary celebration. Now, during my career, I've had many opportunities to engage with the university. And you know, I've seen it grow and flourish while always remaining true to its mission of providing educational opportunity and public service to the city. UMass Boston has been at the forefront of so many initiatives to improve the quality of life in our community. And under Chancellor Motley's visionary leadership, it truly has come of age. It's increased the size of its student body, added new academic programming, not to mention the state-of-the-art new buildings. All of this while also rising in national and international stature. When the Chancellor asked me to co-chair this event, and he told me that Governor Patrick was the honoree, I knew I had to say yes. And then he told me about the Deval L. Patrick Chair in Social, Political, and Economic Innovation. And I knew that this event was about preparing for this institution's next 50 years as much as it was about celebrating the past 50 years. The holder of this new academic chair will address critical social and economic inequities that affect the quality of life in the Commonwealth, the nation, and the world. The chair will also provide a most significant way to further Governor Patrick's legacy of innovation. So thank you all for your generous support of this gala. Our committee is thrilled that so many have stepped forward to help establish this endowed fund for the Patrick Chair. Your contributions help to perpetuate the governor's values and will help to create a more equitable and prosperous society for all. And on a personal note, it has been a pleasure to be a part of this important effort. And most importantly, it has been a pleasure to work with co-chair Sean Curran, who put his heart, his soul, and his substantial clout behind this important effort. You know, Sean loves you, Governor Patrick, and so do I. So thank you.
Good evening, everyone. What a pleasure it has been to work with you, Carol. Fantastic. And all of the rest of the Gala host committee. And thanks to you, Chancellor Motley, not only for your outstanding leadership, but for giving me this opportunity to serve the city's public research university in its 50th year. I got a call the other day from the very humble and hardworking Vice Chancellor for Development, Gina Capello, who wanted me to pass her over in my remarks. How could I? Under her leadership, the university development team of Heather Brigham, Deb Dolan, Vanessa Carta, Ellen Fleming, and Kaylin Addison have done so much to make this night possible and do great work throughout the year to build and sustain this world-class university. I want to thank our many generous sponsors, individual ticket buyers, in-kind supporters, committee members, and friends who have made tonight a success. Together, you have contributed $1 million for the Deval L. Patrick Chair in Social, Political, Economic Innovation. And let me recognize our lead sponsors, Bain Capital, Amos. Steve, you did see he was clapping right away. He's really caught on quite a bit. Amos and Barbara Hostetter, the Paul and Phyllis Fireman Charitable Foundation, Clear Channel, Bank of America, and the Boston Globe. If moved by this evening's if moved by the work of this great university or the man that they honor tonight, please use the donation cards that are at your table to make a gift that is significant to you. There is a donation table on your way out that will be happy to accept it. Tonight's benefit honors a beloved Boston institution, a most distinguished governor, and their shared commitment to increased educational opportunity and economic prosperity. Knowing Governor Patrick's passion to encourage people to think big about solutions, I too am excited by the vision for the Deval L. Patrick Chair in Social, Political, and Economic Innovation. Now, I have seen Governor Patrick introduced to large audiences by many people over the years, but perhaps not as well as he was just last week during the commencement exercises at his alma mater. Upon the conferral of an honorary Doctor of Laws degree, Harvard President Drew Gilpin Faust described him this way: exemplar and exponent of the American dream, embracing commonwealth as a lived ideal. He has worn his excellency with humility and grace, while kindling in others a reason to believe. Deval Patrick's impact on our Commonwealth will require years to be fully appreciated. His tenure was an 8-year exercise in thinking big about how together we could broaden opportunity for everyone in this community. For our economy, he pioneered innovative approaches that played to our strengths in the knowledge industries. For those still waiting to enjoy full citizenship, he ushered in innovative social policies that made our Commonwealth more fair. And for the children of our Commonwealth, innovative and unprecedented education investments that set more of them on a path of excellence than would have been the case. This academic chair provides the Commonwealth with a laboratory to continue that bold thinking and kindle in the students that benefit from it a desire to lead us all. May they be inspired by the example of the man whose name adorns this chair. Thank you again for your generosity and for helping to perpetuate the legacy of Governor Patrick here at the University of Massachusetts, Boston. Please enjoy the rest of your evening.
So we want to thank both of you, and we have some tokens of our appreciation from the University of Massachusetts, Boston. One of them is our commemorative book, first of all, to you.
Thank you, Jim.
And also our commemorative 50th anniversary book. And so we thank both of you. Thank you so much for your leadership. Oh, Harry, we're supposed to take a picture here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Come on this side. Here we go.
Make sure to get my flowers in.
Thank you, Sean and Carol. And our next speakers are from the University of Massachusetts system. Please join me in welcoming the chair of the University of Massachusetts Board of Trustees, Victor Woolridge, and University President Robert Carrette. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Good evening, everyone. Okay, good evening, everyone. There you go. It's really a pleasure for me to be here with you this evening to celebrate UMass Boston's 50th anniversary, and of course, former Governor Deval Patrick. And certainly on behalf of the University of Massachusetts Board of Trustees, I'd like to congratulate Chancellor Motley and of course the entire University of Massachusetts at Boston community on this historic milestone, 50 years. From its humble beginnings as an undergraduate institution on Pearl Street, in Boston's only public university, has grown to become a national model of excellence among public research institutions. Today, this anchor institution is a beacon of opportunity in the educational, social, and economic life of the Commonwealth's capital city. Committed to education at all levels, Governor Patrick deeply understood the vital role that the University of Massachusetts system plays in our state's knowledge-based economy. He knew that weak state funding for the university threatened our mission to provide an affordable, accessible, and high-quality education. Under his prudent oversight, state support grew by $100 million for 2 years. Now, I know that this number has been repeated a couple times, but I think it's important for us to recognize that. It is significant growth, and we were able, as a result of that, to freeze tuition costs for in-state undergraduate students, and that is a significant contribution. Additionally, as you heard, we've made some long overdue investments in new facilities across all of our campuses and boosted growth in our life sciences research. Opened this year on the UMass Boston's campus, the new integrated science complex. And it's a wonderful, wonderful example of the kind of impact that Governor Patrick has had in his leadership and support over our entire university community. And through these achievements, his legacy will endure for generations to come, and that I'm sure of. As a university alumnus myself, I've had this tremendous honor to have served my alma mater for 2 terms during Governor Patrick's tenure in office. I've been greatly, greatly inspired, truly, by his innovative thinking and his approach to governing. His accomplishments obviously speak for themselves, and his underlying belief that good government advances opportunity for those among us with sharp intellects, but those whose access may have been impeded by social or economic barriers. Many, including the governor, who we all know was a student of the ABC program, the A Better Chance program, along with Chancellor Motley and myself, who were upward bound students. We are all beneficiaries of the countless others who sought to break down these barriers, and we stand here today as the living evidence of our forebearers' success. The Deval L. Patrick Chair in Social, Political, and Economic Innovation is a fitting tribute to those values. The holder of this chair will address, as you've heard, critical social and economic inequalities that affect the quality of life in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, in the nation, and in the world. We know that research is critical to helping to understand these complex challenges. It's exciting to think about the future contributions that this academic chair will make to create positive socio-economic change. Contributions that will further, as you've heard, the governor's distinguished career and his legacy in public service. So I just want to add my thanks to the governor for all that he's done and congratulate him on this honor. And of course, I want to thank each of you for your contributions, for being here, and for supporting the University of Massachusetts at Boston. Thank you.
Well, again, let me join with the other speakers in both congratulating the governor and the campus itself. You know, a big part of my job is to tell and sell the UMass story. And today, the UMass system is educating 73,000 students every day, another almost 70,000 students online. We're graduating 17,000 students a year, 80% of whom stay here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We have almost 300,000 alums just in the Commonwealth and almost 500,000 alums around the globe. We're a $3 billion enterprise that generates over $6 billion in economic vitality. And I'm here tonight to say that UMass Boston is one of the lead campuses making all that happen for the citizens of the Commonwealth. I'm also going to take the privilege of speaking for my successor, Marty Meehan, who was with us. We both feel that the Boston campus has had an unbelievable 50-year history. And it just happens to be that I arrived here in Boston the first time I stayed here in Boston 50 years ago this year. So I was here when UMass Boston was created, and I'm here today to help celebrate that 50th birthday. And I want to just reflect on something else that happened at the commencement exercises last week when the governor received an honorary doctorate. The speaker, who's an alum and head of the Environmental Protection Agency, got up and said, you know, and I'm paraphrasing, but she said, we're here to celebrate the fact that we're all graduating from the University of Massachusetts. But it's not just the University of Massachusetts, it's the University of Massachusetts, Boston. And so tonight, again, the University of Massachusetts Boston is my favorite UMass campus, and the chancellor is my favorite UMass chancellor. But as I like to say, that changes on a regular basis. But we're primarily here to honor the governor. We're here to honor someone who is committed to public service, who is committed to public education, and understands that this entire country has been built on a base that relies on education for a solid democracy. So the Deval Patrick Chair in Social, Political, and Economic Innovation fits well within our mission and on this campus. One of the first things the governor did in 2006 when he was elected was come and visit our flagship campus. We like to use that term every once in a while, at the Amherst. And he spent almost the entire day on the campus talking to faculty, staff, and students. When the first time I was brought in as president, the day after I was announced, he asked me to come and visit with him, and we began to have a conversation. Soon after that, he invited me to go on a trade mission with him to Europe, and we talked some more. And that conversation, as he said things to me like, tell me about the budget at UMass, tell me about the challenges, tell me what we can do better. And we began to talk. That led to what we call the 50-50 plan, where we talked about splitting the cost of education between the state and the student. When I was in school, and many of you were in school, the state paid 70% of that educational cost. When I came to Massachusetts, the state was down to about 44% of that educational cost. The student was picking up the rest. With the governor's support and the legislative support, we were able to get an increase, as has been mentioned in our budget, over a 2-year period of $100 million. That allowed us to free tuition and fees for 2 years, taking us from one of the 7 most expensive public systems in the country down into the middle of the pack, something that our students deserve, and something that we got us to that 50-50 mark. I think those steps by the governor, going to Amherst, reaching out to me, having that conversation, putting that that money into the budget to get us to where we needed to be to that 50-50 for our students, it provides insight into the individual himself. He understood when he took the role that he had an important part to play for the citizens of the state, and he understood that education was part of that, higher education was part of that. He reached out to learn a bit more about how that functioned and what the needs were, and he was there for us. So tonight we honor him with this named chair. And what I like best about it, other than the fact that we're honoring a person who deserves it, is that it links Deval Patrick and the name Deval Patrick to the University of Massachusetts, and the University of Massachusetts, Boston in particular, for the rest of history. You will be part of this campus and all that happens on this campus. So I thank you, Governor, for everything you've done for us. I thank all of the sponsors tonight and all of you who are part of this evening for providing the support to make this chair possible. I thank the citizens of the Commonwealth for all that they've done to support the University of Massachusetts. When the governor came in, he had an inspirational theme that said, "Together we can." And tonight, we can all say, "Together we did." Congratulations, Governor.
Thank you both. Before we break for dinner, I'd like to tell you about a few things at your table. Have you seen your viewfinders? There are viewfinders at every table. They're a lot of fun. Take a look. You're going to find photos of UMass Boston and its future master plan. I invite you also to meet the faces of UMass Boston. At your place setting, you'll find a bookmark with a photo and a quote that begins with the words, "Just imagine." On the back side, there's a brief profile of that person. These are the mission-driven people that we were talking about earlier, the students and faculty who want to change the world. They see their studies, their research, and their engagement with the community as a means of doing that. Let me tell you about one of them, Josely Alonzo. Josely Alonzo, an anthropology major. She is a Dominican native who suffers from a chronic health condition, aplastic anemia. Her mother moved her to Boston so they could access the health care here, the best in the world. As a student, she's engaged in research on health disparities in the Latino communities and served as a public policy intern at UMass Boston Center for Social Policy. She imagines a world where everyone could find their own strength and would try to help empower those who have forgotten theirs, without forgetting that someone helped them in the beginning as well. Josely is with us tonight, along with several other faces of UMass Boston. So I'd ask that you would all please stand so we could acknowledge you. Stand and wave if you're a face of UMass Boston. We think you're here. Great. We're proud of you, and we're glad you're here with us tonight. We know that because you care about our community, you're here and you want to make it a better place for all. These issues also are very important to UMass Boston, and over at dinner, I hope that you will talk about this kind of conversation with your table mates. While you're eating, take a moment to swap books. You're going to be busy during dinner. There's lots going on here. If you're lucky enough to be sitting with one of those faces, take the opportunity to talk with him or her about what they do. And if you'd like to know more about something you've read, please seek out members of the UMass Boston community who are here with us this evening. And now, before we eat, let us pray. Creator God, we know you by many names, but we thank you as one for this special celebration tonight, honoring two institutions. We thank you for this magnificent center of learning, UMass Boston, that has changed and improved the lives of so many. We pray for this school. Help this community to value the experience of study for its own sake. Bless these curious and expectant lives. Make them wise but not cunning, perceptive but not cynical, and generous in a world where greed and ruthlessness too often prevail. Bless this magnificent leader we honor tonight. Continue to stir his passion, his wisdom, and will to lead all people in paths of truth, freedom, and peace, and all for your glory. Bless the food we are about to receive. in the name of all we hold holy, for me that is Jesus Christ. Let the people of God together say amen. 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 Enjoy your meal, and we'll talk to you a little later. Hello again, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your meal. We'd like to continue our program now. If you would find your seats, please. During his 2 terms in office, Governor Deval Patrick brought an innovative approach to government and oversaw significant investments in education, the life sciences, and infrastructure. As a champion of public higher education, he strengthened the connections between the University of Massachusetts system and our state's economy. Let's take a few minutes to look back at his public service legacy and the impact at UMass Boston.
Please join me in welcoming my governor, your governor, Deval Patrick. There are lots of moments that the governor spent here on his campus, Boston's capital city campus. He always was giving gifts to the future. So as you come on our campus, the Integrated Sciences Complex, the first building that he gave to us, 220,000 square feet of innovation. See, the governor is about the development of human beings and what that means as a whole. It shows up in the work. It shows up in what he's been able to help us develop here on the campus.
It's not about buildings alone. It is about a confidence in and an aspiration for the kind of future we can shape together. Make the most of it. It's great to be with you.
I believe Governor Patrick's most lasting contribution to Massachusetts in terms of the educational arena, where I have devoted my life, has been in creating a vision of excellence for what Massachusetts needs to aspire to and needs to be.
When he proposed his budget 2 years ago, I believe, that looked at addressing financing public higher education with a 50-50 model really inspired me to run for student trustee, because I knew that there was leadership who was looking at these issues from a student perspective. And to be able to kind of work on a board of trustees that deals closely with the state government and with the governor's office, and a governor who is committed to those principles, was really inspiring.
In so many parts of Massachusetts, the UMass campuses are the academic focal points. So their role, their importance in driving economic development and training talent, their role is preeminent. And Governor Patrick recognized that. He was a huge supporter of the UMass system. I'm very excited that he's being honored in this way by our public university system.
The Deval L. Patrick Chair in Social, Political, and Economic Innovation is an opportunity for this university not only to build on the governor's great legacy as an advocate and champion of higher education, but also to think forward as he did about the future of this Commonwealth.
The Deval L. Patrick Chair in Social, Political, and Economic Innovation at a school devoted to social justice is just the combining of two wonderful legacies and ideas in one place.
We all know his story by now, and it's an interesting thing. He would say to people, that story, while not told enough in this country, or as much as we'd like to see it told in this country, is told more often in this country than any other country in the world. The idea that you can come from nothing and make something incredible out of your life. And this chair at UMass Boston is going to give that opportunity to a number of other young people in similar circumstances. So I think it's an amazing opportunity.
He has taught all of us that whatever we achieve, whatever we do, don't ever, ever forget to pass it on. That's who Governor Patrick is, and as a result, that's who so many of us are today.
This man's whole tenure was marked by a lot of grace. You know, whether people agree with absolutely everything that he stood for, they knew one thing about him, which was that he was coming from a place of conviction, and it was a place of caring and a place of love, frankly, which love doesn't often get used as a word to describe the motivations of people in politics, but I think that love is very much at the center of what drove him to be in public life.
Wasn't that amazing? Wasn't that amazing? That was so terrific. To kick off our formal tribute to Governor Patrick, I'd like to ask the University of Massachusetts Boston's own poet laureate, Professor of English, Duncan Nelson, to come up and to share a poem for us. Come on up, Duncan.
Thank you, sir. Go for it. So first, to prepare me, I don my bardic bays. Good. Where is the governor? There he is. I'm coming forward on the proscenium. So as you can tell, probably because of my white hairs, I represent the first 50 years of this university, and I'm here to cheer on the second 50 years. For great celebrations, I employ rhymed couplets. For super celebrations, I employ triple rhymes. For uber celebrations, I employ quadruple rhymes. In honor of the Honorable Deval L. Patrick. Rising before you with cap and bells on, I, Poet Laureate Duncan Nelson, will now render in rhymes an expression of our love for this man who betimes was our gov. Now, in order to challenge me right away, what am I going to do with 4 rhymes with Patrick? Here we go. And you'll see, as you'll see, I will do anything to create a rhyme. Now to task my muse, I asked her just what trick of Greco-Roman or Anglophone rhetoric might best avail me to hail Deval Patrick, who's pulled off what in hockey they call a hat trick, and in horse racing call a triple crown, winning city, state, national renown, in honor of which he's now toast of the town. Was robed last Thursday in an LLD gown at Harvard, after which Friday was tossed in a like high degree from UMass Boston. He's not only taken the cake, but also the frosting. Well, my muse warned me not to get lost in, recounting accomplishments so plethaural would tax past the max my hexameter's choral, but rather to stress once and for all, in ways calculated not to bore all assembled, those many ways in which he, with consummate skill, has consistently encouraged our campus by the sea to be the university we are, local and global, Bayside and worldwide. We thank you for taking our side, for being our stalwart support, steady guide towards the finish line of our 50-year ride. From Arlington Street to Dorchester Bay, we sing out a multilingual ole. Gaudeamus, bravissimo, namaste, zig heil and all hail. All these we say how much we've appreciated your presence as we've come to both learn and teach the lessons of inclusion. We trust in the incandescence of our beacon to beam forth forever the essence of what Commonwealth is. Your endowed chair is another way in which to declare our shared concern that the welfare of this city and state spread out everywhere, as borne on the wings of innovation, springs forth through a process of integration, a pan-political realization of a social and economic equation that will make for not only a better nation, but a better world, whose estimation will be high as for the guy this occasion, with daps and fist bumps of approbation and whoops and hollers of jubilation, hails in an outburst of celebration. To Patrick, bravo, bravo.
Harriet, Duncan Nelson, ladies and gentlemen. Duncan, you're forgetting your brim. I've been known to keep things like this.
Even the hat band is off. I almost sat in that rocking chair. That looked pretty comfortable.
Thank you again. Let's give Duncan a round of applause. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to introduce one of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts' most distinguished leaders and a champion for public education and the innovation economy, Governor Deval Patrick. Governor Patrick, come join me on the stage. Chairman Woolridge, come join me on the stage. Provost Langley, come join me up on the stage. I want you to stand right up here so we can see you, man. To a most distinguished leader and a friend of the University of Massachusetts, Boston, Governor Patrick, yours is a remarkable story of achievement. As a first-time candidate turned first-time Massachusetts governor that traces its origins to educational opportunity. Motivated by your own experiences as a first-generation college graduate, you understood that a quality education is an opportunity that should be available to all. And that public investment in education at all levels is critical to expanding opportunity and prosperity, most especially for those of limited means. During your tenure in office, you oversaw funding for public education and funding for the University of Massachusetts system, and of course, the University of Massachusetts, Boston, at the highest level. With this support, coupled with your initiative to advance the life sciences, funding for new university buildings, and scholarships for high-achieving students, you have proven yourself to be a true champion for Boston's urban public research university. This evening, your university, the University of Massachusetts, Boston, proudly proclaims and recognizes you for your most distinguished leadership of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and for your outstanding contributions to our public higher education mission. Governor Patrick, on this date, June 4th, 2015, the University of Massachusetts, Boston formally announces the establishment of the Deval L. Patrick Chair in Social, Political, and Economic Innovation. We commit to use the financial resources from this endowed fund to support a nationally or internationally recognized academic who will focus on addressing critical social and economic inequities that affect the quality of life in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, this great nation, and the world. And so, Governor Patrick, the builder and holder of this chair, will engage in cutting-edge interdisciplinary research and advance the knowledge of how government, business, and nonprofit organizations can foster innovation to create positive socioeconomic change, with a particular focus on reducing disparities and increasing equity where the need exists. In recognition of this honor, I am pleased to present you with this special University of Massachusetts Boston chair. And it's inscribed with the name of your endowed chair. For those of you who don't know about chairs in academia, it's one of the most prestigious things that can happen on a college campus. And we're so honored that that prestige is associated with you. May it serve as a reminder of the investment that our university and all here have made to honor your public service legacy by advancing research for social and economic progress.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
We're going to get a picture right here around the chair. Come on around the chair. Yeah, you can sit in that chair. So I asked the provost to come over to make this official because he's the academic leader of the institution. And so, Governor Patrick, I know you're chilling in that chair, but this is your opportunity. Come on up and speak to us. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Keith, thank you very much for the kind words, and to you and to President Corrett, to President-elect Meehan, to all of the University of Massachusetts Boston family, the leadership, everybody. Thank you very much for this extraordinary recognition, and most especially for your leadership, all of you in office today and in office over the last 50 years, for what you have built at UMass Boston. I must say that Keith is first of all, I feel like, and I've said this to Keith, whenever I'm with him, I need something like that to stand on. And were it not for the fact that it rocked, I might have used it tonight. Keith has this incredible combination of sort of preacher and game show host. So it makes you feel, he would make Good Morning on a Rainy Day just sound like a thing to celebrate. But he adds to his enthusiasm a deep, deep intellect, a powerful leadership, depth and skill, the way he has of building loyalty among those on the campus and beyond for the campus, and above all for the students on the campus, is a thing to behold. And it's a meaningful honor in any circumstances, but to receive it tonight from you, Keith, is a personal honor for me. I appreciate you. I also want to acknowledge and thank my friends and our co-chairs tonight of the host committee, Carol and Sean, for the hard work that you and all of the host committee did to make tonight happen and to support and celebrate the University of Massachusetts Boston in this way. I want to thank all of those who have contributed tonight, longtime friends, including new partners who are also longtime friends at Bain Capital, and the Hofstetters and so many others who have stepped up in such generous ways tonight. I'm grateful to each and every one of you. I want to also say I'm out of the speech-giving business, so I'm not going to keep you. I'm not going to keep you long. A couple times it's been referred tonight to the fact that I graduated from a local college on the other side of the river, and where it is said, by the way, that the graduates never die; they just turn into buildings. Apparently, I have turned into a chair. And I'm awfully glad it rocks. I want to say that when I thought about this last week, and I think about it often at UMass Boston, that when I, as the first in my family, got into college, I called home and I got my grandmother on the phone. And I said, Grandma, I'm going to college next year. I'm going to Harvard. And she got all excited and carried on, yelled and screamed. And then she paused and she said, now, where is that anyway? And I remember at the time being devastated. How could she not appreciate what had just happened to me, what I had just accomplished? And it was some years before I realized that she understood that milestone better than I did. In fact, what she was excited about was not the prestige, but the opportunity. UMass Boston is in the opportunity business. And that is what you are all supporting. That is what you are all supporting tonight. That is what we support day in and day out. I was proud to do what I could in partnership with the best lieutenant governor in the history of the Commonwealth, in Tim Murray, and a rich and deep partnership with the legislature and with the leadership of UMass Boston. Keep it going, because the business of opportunity is the business of America, and it is worthy business. Thank you for having me tonight.
Thank you, Governor Patrick. I want you to stay here. I want our First Lady to come on up on the stage. Come on up, Diane Patrick. We have this for you. Mwah. And Governor, in addition to the chair, we also have a commemorative 50th anniversary book and also another small token of our appreciation for you as well, okay? Thank you. Oh, pictures, we're gonna put Beauty in the middle. Thank you so much. My man. Thank you. And we'll hold on to that for you for a second. Now, we have some major announcements to make tonight. And I just need you to hold in and hang in there with us for just a few more moments. Exposing students to research conducted by the Patrick Chair will enhance our university's teaching and our learning environment. Our next person to come before you will help you understand the kind of exposure and how it will impact future generations of students. It's my pleasure to introduce someone to you, one of the University of Massachusetts Boston's newest graduates. Julie Suarez, come on up here, Julie, received her degree last Friday. She's a native of Columbia and a resident of Lynn, Massachusetts. She studied psychology and women's and gender studies in the College of Liberal Arts. Julie is also the recipient of the 2015 John F. Kennedy Award for Academic Excellence, the highest annual award given to a university graduate, and served as her class speaker at commencement. Ladies and gentlemen, Julie Suarez. Thank you, love.
Thank you, Chancellor Motley. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being a part of such an amazing event. I would like to begin by congratulating Governor Patrick. Last week, I had the honor of sharing the stage with him as he received his honorary degree from UMass Boston. In preparing for this event, I spent some time familiarizing myself with Governor Patrick's profile and was astounded by his impressive achievements. I was especially humbling to realize that Governor Patrick and I shared an accomplishment as the first in our families to attend college. Then I thought of so many other UMass Boston students who are the first in their family to attend college and how incredibly intertwined their lives are with the ideals that encompass the Patrick Chair. It was inevitable to see the connection between the purpose of the Patrick Chair, which is to address critical social and economic inequities, and the experiences of so many UMass Boston students. The holder of the Patrick Chair will do more than create socioeconomic change in society. That person will have a profound effect on the lives of the students who engage in such critical research. I know for a fact that students will be transformed because my own life was significantly impacted by my involvement with research at UMass Boston. 4 years ago, when I started my journey at UMass Boston, I was determined to acquire the knowledge necessary to join a field of service and make an impact on my community. The socioeconomic status my parents and I found ourselves in when we migrated to this country exposed the inequities that plagued the Latino community. For many years, we struggled to make ends meet. My parents, like many other immigrants, found themselves taking on multiple jobs in order to put food on the table and support our family back home in Colombia. As a freshman, I would have never imagined that the path to service would be revealed through research. I was introduced to research by one of my mentors, Dr. Lona Rivera. I was mesmerized by her work with the Latino community in Boston. All of Dr. Rivera's research served to expose the difficulties experienced by young Latina mothers who were trying to get their lives back on track through adult literacy programs. Most importantly, her work served as a tool for change, as a means to improve the condition of these women. After learning about Dr. Rivera's work, I realized that I can make an impact through research. I quickly became involved with research programs on campus. My first immersion took place with the Mauricio Gaston Institute for Latino Community Development and Public Policy. I was able to be a part of a research team that went out to Pittsfield, Massachusetts, in order to understand the needs of the growing Latino community in that town and share that information with local representatives. I also became involved with the UMass Boston Dana-Farber Harvard Cancer Center Research Partnership. Under the mentorship of Jan Muchler and with the assistance of Maisi Yang, I was part of a project focused on the development of a resiliency program for medical interpreters in cancer care. The development of this program made me realize the depths of research, because not only were we helping medical interpreters, we were helping limited English proficiency patients whose entire medical experiences depended on these interpreters. As an assistant for this research project, I was introduced to numerous tools used in social science research. Most importantly, I was given an opportunity to strengthen my research skills and my ability to produce work in a timely manner. All of these skills combined went beyond the scope of the lab, and I quickly found myself utilizing them in the classroom. My academic experience was enhanced by the knowledge acquired in the lab. Furthermore, my mentors came together and expanded my horizons. I started working on the Medical Interpreters Project the summer before my senior year. At that point, I was unsure if graduate school would be an option because of the financial strain it would create. However, this did not stop my mentors from encouraging me to apply. They assured me I was bound to obtain a scholarship. They were able to see my strengths at a time when I was doubtful. Additionally, knowing that I wanted to join the field of social work, Jan Muchler connected me with someone in the field who was combining her clinical work with research in order to make an impact on the individual and policy level. All these factors combined projected me into graduate school. My mentors gave me the strength and courage to apply, and today I am happy to say that in the fall I will begin my studies at Boston University on a full scholarship. Thank you. I plan on becoming a clinical social worker and combining my work with research in order to impact the lives of many through policy. However, none of this would have been possible without the opportunity to do real-world research on socioeconomic disparities and the support of faculty mentors along the way. Research opened my eyes to a series of opportunities for change that I would have never thought possible. The mentors I acquired through research led me onto a path that I am very happy to find myself on today, because through this path, I will make a change. My experience is proof of the profound effect research can have on the community and students. The person who holds the Patrick Chair in Social, Political, and Economic Innovation will have an opportunity to address socioeconomic issues through his or her work and through the relationships formed with students. UMass Boston is full of students like myself who want to give back to their communities, but may not be sure how to do it and or how engaging research offers a path to achieve this goal. The Patrick Chair will create so many opportunities for students, and it is almost inevitable that their entire lives and future plans will be transformed by the experience of working with professors who hold this position. My life was permanently changed by my research experience at UMass Boston, and I am extremely excited to see how students who come after me will be impacted by the Deval L. Patrick Chair in Social, Political, and Economic Innovation. On their behalf, I would like to extend my thanks for what you're doing tonight, supporting this new educational opportunity for all of them. Thank you.
Now, Boston University is getting a gift from us. And Dr. Brown, if you know Dr. Brown, you tell him that Chancellor Motley said he better take care of our Julie when she gets over there. And Julie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'm going to make sure I let him know that too.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you. We're so proud of you. Thank you for bringing home for all of us just what it means and what this education means. Just imagine, think about it. Nearly every conversation about building a better tomorrow starts with this powerful call to action. 50 years ago, the University of Massachusetts Boston founders imagined the great public urban research university in Boston. They had a bold, audacious vision to broaden access to public higher education and to focus on addressing urban challenges. It's a vision that inspires us all, and it inspires everything that we do today. Just imagine. That's what Deval Patrick did when he made investment in public education and the innovation economy a priority for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. He was imagining a better future and thinking about how we can broaden education and economic opportunities for every single citizen. Just imagine. That's what first-generation college students like Julie, who was just up here, do when they come to our university fired up with big dreams for their futures and graduate eager to go to places like Boston University, but more importantly, to address the social and economic inequities they've studied right here. Now I invite you all to just imagine with me. Imagine the potential of your university, the University of Massachusetts, Boston, to do more to respond to the communities we serve, to do more to support vital economic development, and do more to advance social change. How will we do that? It will take a concerted effort by those who believe that we all have a stake in public higher education and that the future of Boston's great public research university is interlinked with the future we want for our city and our Commonwealth. It will take serious investment from a new generation of visionaries who want to shape a new, vibrant chapter in this great university's history. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor tonight to announce the public launch of an unprecedented $100 million campaign. Just imagine the campaign for the University of Massachusetts, Boston. Aligned with our university strategic plan, our campaign has 4 priority areas and financial goals. $50 million for student success. I said $50 million for student success. $30 million for building a research enterprise. $10 million for transforming the campus, and $10 million for annual support. And those other hundreds of millions from you for all those other things that we can just imagine. Through student success, we're seeking to provide our students with resources to realize their goals. These resources include college-based learning communities, peer and faculty mentoring, the Honors College. Yes, there is an Honors College in Boston. It needs a name. And financial aid. Our world-class renowned faculty are making pioneering research contributions in a breadth of fields, from biomedical health and life sciences to clean energy and environmental sustainability to social, cultural, and human development sciences. To build our research enterprise, we're seeking targeted support for undergraduate research and mentoring programs, graduate fellowships, internships, and investments in facilities and technology, and transforming our campus as you see we're doing every day. We have dramatic new architecture and many new spacious laboratory, performance, classroom, and community areas. Spaces to be outfitted with the latest and the best equipment and technologies. Our founders wanted us to be equal to or better than the best, never less than. Our campaign has identified naming opportunities for 2 new general academic buildings, the Integrated Sciences Complex, the performance art spaces, and other campus enhancements. Yes, we have naming opportunities that we've identified for everything that we can think of on campus. Annual giving forms the backbone of support for all university endeavors and is especially vital to meet the goals of Just Imagine. Yearly gifts of all sizes. Nothing is too small, because when you're 1/6 of the cost for the excellence that we have, which is equal to or better than the best, and when you do your value proposition and you understand that, you'll come running to the doors of the University of Massachusetts. And so, those yearly gifts provide that support for student scholarships, faculty recruitment and development, campus improvements and community partnerships, and so much more. Every gift, no matter what the size, builds our future success. In launching the public phase of our Just Imagine campaign, I'd like to acknowledge our campaign chair and University of Massachusetts trustee, Dick Campbell. Dick is a most distinguished alum of our university and the founder of the Crystal Campbell Scholarship. For those of you that do not know who Crystal Campbell was, she is a young lady who shines over our campus, who was tragically hurt and killed in the Boston Marathon fiasco. He's a fabulous leader during the silent phase of our campaign. Unfortunately, he's out making money for us, out in the Midwest, and he's not able to be here tonight because sometimes you have to make a choice. Finding the dollars to help the future generations of students or sitting around with our governor to do a chair tonight. He's already raised the money for the chair, so he's on to the next thing. So he sends his regrets, Governor. He also joins me in extending the university's gratitude to our alumni and friends. Our alumni stepped up with millions of dollars from the University of Massachusetts Boston alumni. Corporations, thank you. Foundations, thank you. If you've contributed to Just Imagine to date, thank you. This evening, with your generous support of the Patrick Chair, our campaign is now more than $52.3 million and growing. That's what it was when I walked in the door tonight. Give yourselves a round of applause. And so, ultimately, our campaign is about creating new opportunities for our students, for our faculty and our staff, but it's also about investing in their hopes and dreams. Let's meet them.
I imagine my education is going to prepare me very well for my future.
I imagine myself succeeding in the business world.
I think I have a future here at UMass Boston.
Just imagine a group of kids coming in and motivating each other, not only on their campus, not only in their community, but hopefully in the world that they live in.
Just imagine a campus with facilities that are comparable to the excellent faculty and students that inhabit this space every day. An opportunity for learning and contribution can happen. It's happening here at the University of Massachusetts Boston.
I imagine that I'm gonna really enjoy the new campus. You have everything at your fingertips and you're right on the water. You're right outside of Boston.
Just imagine when this space is complete, all the walls are up, the windows are there, the mirrors are there so we can see ourselves dance. We can see how we really express ourselves through movement.
We are constantly trying to forge strong relationships with talented individuals and strong institutions. I can imagine us partnering, the scientists within UMass Boston, working on projects of common interest. Increasingly in the sciences, it will be unusual for somebody to solve a problem on their own. Increasingly we will be solving problems together, and I think UMass Boston fosters that kind of learning.
That Suffolk success really has made a huge impact on me academically because it's provided me with mentors that I know are there for me.
With the Freshman Success Community Program, I'm a peer mentor for that, and we were able to travel to the Azores, which are a group of islands off of Portugal.
From healthcare to the health of our neighborhoods, University of Massachusetts Boston and its students and its faculty and its staff are making a contribution.
Just imagine that your gift would make it possible for our students to go abroad, to see the unfamiliar, to learn how to interact with it, and to see themselves as an integral part of a world community.
Just imagine the world where I can use this environmental science degree to help make this world a little bit better than it is.
I was a legislative intern for Senator Elizabeth Warren in Washington, D.C.
Mr. President, a budget is about building for the future.
I got the experience through a really good professor in the political science department. And I was there, in the Senate. It made me feel good about myself. It made me feel like I could do so much more. There's so much more out there and ahead of me.
Just imagine you contributing to that kind of success.
That's what I imagine, that UMass Boston students are going to become imaginative policymakers.
We have to provide abundant opportunities to our students to succeed. That's our goal, that's our mission, that's the purpose of this capital campaign.
Just imagine when I'm an ambassador. Just being forever thankful for UMass Boston, taking that first step with me.
85% of the kids who go to the University of Massachusetts stay in Massachusetts. We are building the workforce of Massachusetts.
Just imagine what your gift can do.
It can be done. We need your help.
Just imagine what your gift can do.
Just imagine what your gift can do.
Just imagine what your gift could do.
Just imagine what your gift will do. So on behalf of our students, our faculty, and our staff, I invite you to join us in supporting Just Imagine, the campaign for the University of Massachusetts, Boston. Woo! Yes. Oh my God, that first table got jacked up. Reverend Liz Walker, come on back up on this stage and join me. We want to thank you for being our MC tonight. Thank you for your beautiful invocation. Thank you for your beautiful self. Thank you for stepping up for your university. We're so grateful to you. Mwah.
Thank you, Chancellor.
Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
Yes, and let those balloons fly.
Enjoy the balloons, and thank you once again, Chancellor. Congratulations, Governor. Congratulations, Julie. You're a wonderful young woman. And before you go, if you have not already picked up your donation cards on your table, pick up the donation card, pick up a pen, and just imagine a big number and then go higher and help this university reach its next goal. Have a good night, everybody. God bless.
Thank you.